Okay, good evening once again, everyone. Please, can you please confirm if you see my slide? Please confirm my slide, please. Sir, can you see my slides, sir, from your end, sir?
Yes, I'm seeing it.
Okay, all right. Perfect, sir. Okay, good evening, distinguished colleague and esteemed member of the Public Service Knowledge Hub. I warmly welcome you to tonight's learning session in our ongoing commitment to build a more competent, confident, and high-performance public service. Tonight, we are focusing on the topic that sits at the very heart of career progression and professional excellence in the public service. Professionalism, comportment, and response precision for success in oral interview on this our upcoming promotion. As we all know, beyond knowledge of the job, the oral promotion interview places strong emphasis on how you present yourself, how you speak, how you carry your emotion, and the clarity and precious precision of your responses. So these elements often determine the difference between officers who merely attempt the interview and those who emerge successful. Tonight's session is designed to open your eyes to the practical realities, unspoken expectation, and the professional standard that every officer must demonstrate at the table of assessment. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to introduce a man who need to no elaboration in introduction within the Lagos State Public Service, Mr. Bashir Ademuyiwa Buraimo. Mr. Buraimo is a highly respected administrator and seasoned human resource manager and a distinguished retired permanent secretary whose contribution to public service leadership remain notable and enduring. During his exceptional career, he chaired numerous oral promotion boards, mentored a score of officers, and played key role in shaping the standard that guide administrative professionalism across our service today. He is a trainer, a counselor, a coach, and one of the most trusted names when it comes to promotion interview guidance. We are deeply honored to have him share his wealth of experience with us this evening. Distinguished member, please join me with your emojis and welcome our facilitator tonight, Mr. Bashir Buraimo. Good evening once again, sir.
Good evening.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. How many minutes do I
have? It's your capacity strength, sir.
Okay, what I'm asking is because I have another meeting for 9 p.m. So
okay,
we have
within 1 hour. We have 1 hour. We have to finish within 1 hour or 1 hour 10 minutes.
Okay, good. Good evening, everybody. Because of the time constraints, I will not spend time on protocol, but I want to use this medium to express my pride in the knowledge hub created for public servants who want to know their onions and who want to put their best and who desire to be different, positively different from the bag of baskets. Now, on this issue, I'll try and spend maximum 30-40 minutes on my slides, but I will also leave room for questions in case there are areas you want me to elaborate upon. Now, I have about 15 slides, 13 slides, but there are others that may not be in the slides that I will add in the process of my presentation. Now, we are not new in service. We know that promotion comes every year. Eligibility period is 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. These are known facts with all of us. But this year is especially important because of the SEAP that commences this year. Though it is for 16 going to 17 majorly, but by next year, it will be applicable to all posts and cadres. Now, in my slide 2, you will see that, next slide, you will see that I'm saying that already promotion exercise in the service. Slide 2, next slide. Promotion exercise in the service. Next slide is based on 3 things. On SPADEV, written examination, and oral interview. Now, after having our SPADEV, after writing the tests, the third part is the oral interview. And these are the basic components in the scoring for interview. When we get to the nitty-gritty, you will see where I am going. Because, like I said, I had to change the topic slightly to read professionalism, comportment, and response precision for success in oral interview for promotion, and aid memoir and basic tips. By the time we go along the slides, you will see how this presentation presents an aid memoir and how it gives you the basic tips in appearing before panels. Let me also say this, that majority of us have attended oral interviews before. Let me also say that for those on 15, 16, they have also possibly chaired PMB Junior Staff Committee. And for those 13, 14, 15, 16 too, or you have been part of the secretariat of both the Junior Staff Committee and the Management Committee of the PMB. So it's not really new to you about the structure of interview. But there are some things I need to say. Next slide, please. There are some things I need to say now for us to appreciate what is expected of us at a uses of oral interview in the state public service. The interview is not just a ritual, and it's not, of course, it is geared towards promotion, but it has multiple usages that go beyond promotion, because there are some lapses that will only become obvious when we have the opportunity to engage ourselves and our staff in the job assessment. For example, at oral interview, the management is able to validate human resource management practices and procedures. And you know that human resource is about recruitment, placement, training, and exit. It validates human resource management because we are able to see officers who have benefited from one training or the other. There are many officers within the space of 3 years of their eligibility period that have not attended any training. No training, no seminar, no workshop, no conference in 3 years. And the training mantra says that if you do not train them, you do not blame them, you don't expect maximum performance from an officer you have not taken the pain to train. In fact, every employment, every promotion, every appointment has what we call the learning curve, the period whereby the officer, a newly promoted, deployed, transferred officer, requires to master the job in that particular MDA. You may be doing HR, you may be doing engineering, you may be doing medical practices, but where you practice it primarily, the environment of that place will differ from any and every other environment. So use promotion exercise to validate our human resource management practices and procedures as regards recruitment. It shows us the gap analysis. We also use interviews for policy evaluation. Look at the policy on ground, evaluate it, examine it, and do everything to give us the correct picture of what we have done, what we are doing, and what we need to do. Don't also forget that the interview minus wanting to promote people also looks at succession planning. Of course, the exit policy, according to the Labor Act and the Pensions Act, is that an officer has to exit from the service on the attainment of 60 years of age or 35 years of service, whichever is earlier. So it means that as people are going out, more people are coming, some people are coming in, and some people are rising across the ladder. The vertical movement from a lower grade level to higher grade level is what ensures that the service is never short of managers, never short of thinkers, never short of action men and women who will put the service at the right trajectory. Of course, there is no, in succession planning, there is no need to duplicate or replicate competencies, because each generation requires separate skills, separate competencies. For example, today, every officer is expected to be computer literate, even where the computer is a tool, where the computer is a machine, is a source of data, yet it is also dictating the pace of work. So the promotion interview also helps us to pursue and implement our succession planning policy in the state public service. The same promotion interview also assists us on our placement and deployment policies. What does this stand to mean? It means that at promotion interview, we will see officers who have been stagnated in terms of deployment in a particular MDA for more than 3, 4, 5, 6 years, some 11 years. And for that, even if they are doing the work well in where they are, the mere fact that they are still operating within the same environment will not bring out the best in them. They become complacent. And that is why when you are doing promotion interview, you want to know the deployment trajectory of the officer. When do you come in? Where and where have you worked? And don't also forget that, especially for those in HR and admin cadre, we also want them, as a matter of policy, to work in the core service areas. These 4 core service areas are Ministry of Establishment and Training, Civil Service Commission, and any of the other HR commissions, Office of the Head of Service, and also the Cabinet Office. We also want to do it in their first 10 years in service, between level 8 and level 10, before they get to level 12, or at maximum at level 12, they should have worked in at least 2 of these core HR agencies. Now, it's only at promotion interview that we're able to see all this come to the front burner. These are the things that we do at interviews. So we record, we see, we act, and sometimes when we find out that a particular officer is deficient in an aspect of the public service, we encourage them, we as a matter of conscious policy, deploy them to those areas so that they can be well grounded in every aspect of public sector management. Now, of course, promotion interview also assists us to do human resource audit. What does human resource audit entail? It entails that we will know the core competencies available, the strengths, the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Also able to know areas of preparedness, the volume, the quantity of staff, the quality of staff, the dispersal of staff across disciplines. This is not only relevant in HR, even for the professionals. If you are a lawyer, the HR audit and our placement deployment policy will also show which aspect of the legal practice have you really been involved. Like Ministry of Justice, you have the DPP, you have the legal and advisory, you have the administrator general and public trustees, and you have other areas that are not really required. The same thing in engineering. You can be an electrical person in Ministry of Housing, but at the time you go to Ministry of Works, still on electrical, there are some areas that will be involved in Ministry of Works that you are not involved in Ministry of Housing. And the same thing applies to our engineers who also work in fiscal planning offices and agencies, where you can see the core competencies of the officer. So it is through this promotion interview that we are able to see all these things in terms of strength, in terms of lapses, in terms of what to do. Otherwise, we'll just be carrying dead woods along. I've always said one thing: there is a difference between 10 years experience and 10 experiences in 1 year. If you are in a place for 10 years, of course, you will have the depth of knowledge applicable to the place. But at the end of the day, you will not be well grounded if you go elsewhere. So our policy of having maximum of 3 years to stay in an MDA is to enable you stretch your competencies, stretch your career, stretch your deliverables across board. So HR audit shows us the strengths, the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, shows us the emerging trends and emerging tendencies in HR practices. And I'm talking of HR practices now. I'm not limiting myself to the admin and HR. HR cuts across all organizations. Even if you are in the Ministry of Health, there is HR there. The training that is done for professionals in Ministry of Health differ from the training done for professionals in Ministry of Housing or Works or Environment or Fiscal Planning. So HR audits enables us to see what we have and how to utilize them. Sometimes a particular office may have too many competence, too many people on a particular competence, whereas other MDAs have little or no person in that particular area of competence. So it is the oral interview that makes us see all these things so that we can have a balance of HR implementation and utilization. Next slide, please. Now, this takes me to my next slide on assumptions. There are basic assumptions. I call it assumptions because they are taken for granted. It may be, it may not be, but more often than not, these are the things that drive promotion interview. There is fairness. We want to believe that everybody is given a fair hearing, everybody is given opportunity to express himself, to market himself, to showcase himself as worthy of having a higher level in the public service based on his length of service, his entry qualification and post-entry qualification courses and training that he has attended that have built him up to that particular level, and that his performance on that level equally qualifies him to rise higher in service. And don't forget, if you marry this with succession planning, it means that as he's going up in service, he's replacing some people who are exiting. And at any point in time, the service must have people who are ready-made, who can assume higher responsibility at little or short notice. So you know that there is fairness, there is openness, there is nobody is against you there. You are entering it and you are seeing everybody. In more often than not, there is hardly anybody in the panel that you will not know by the time you are getting to level 13, 14. We also believe that the exercise is transparent, questions are asked openly, responses are heard openly. You are being asked a question, everybody will know it. You sit, you hear the question, and your response, everybody will see, you hear your response, and everybody is also an evaluator. Both the people on the panel and the people who are interviewees, we are all joint evaluators. I'll do an example. If somebody is asked a question and he gives a wrong answer, even those who are fellow interviewees say, that sends a message to the person that he has flunked it up. And for those who are in the panel, they will know that at least they are not the ones being focused upon, that fellow interviewees are also co-evaluators of performance of people at the oral interview. Of course, like I said, under fairness, there is equal opportunity. Equal opportunity in that you have all written the test, you have all been found eligible. But there is a difference between eligible and suitable. You may be eligible for promotion and not be suitable, not only because of performance at the interview, but because of your attitude to work and other areas that shows your incompetence to assume that higher responsibility. And of course, we also assume that at the interview, there is thoroughness. I will explain this aspect of it. For example, if the panelists have to score a candidate, and they're asking the candidate questions that he's not answering well, and the panel still want to assist him to give him a score. So they keep on asking him questions upon questions, and if he still fails to answer appropriately, it gets to an embarrassing level that the panelists will say, Mr. Brahman, ask yourself a question and answer it, because we have to score you. I have witnessed this a couple of times, where the panelists will ask an interviewee, we ask a candidate, Mr. Brahman, can you please ask yourself a question and answer it? When he gets to that level, the interviewee himself will know that he has flunked. Sometimes during interview, promotion interview, when a particular interviewee, a candidate, is not able to comport himself, sometimes we ask him to go out, him or her to go out, cool down, rest, and come back. Because we don't want to put anybody under pressure. And there is no pressure, or there should be no pressure. Because number one, hardly will there be anybody in that panel that is not known to you. Even in your own MDA, the promotion interview will have the permanent secretary of the MDA as the chairman, 5 directors from that same MDA as members. So there is no way you wouldn't have come across them. There is no way they will not know you. They know your competencies. So sometimes too, when a candidate is not performing well at the oral interview, the panelists say, now. It's not like this. This is exam fever, and they want to assure the candidate, take it easy, cool down, don't rush. To bring confidence into him. And of course, at interview performances, some are late starters. For a late starter, before he gets to the heat of the interview process, he has lost ground. But as time goes on, and he gets his acts together, he will find himself in the heat of it, and he will perform very well. So not everybody, not every interviewee is a good starter. The same thing happens in written tests. There are some people, when they start answering, they first start flunking the answer. By the time he reads back and see that it's also all is derailing, he comes back to the mainstream of the question. So as it happens in oral, so does it happen also in written. Next slide. Now, at the same instance, that's what I call assurances. Assurances on the interview. After the assumption, when you are going for an interview, there are assurances that puts you in the right frame of mind. For example, the interview process appears perfunctory. It may appear mundane. It may appear casual. It may appear informal, though it is formal. So it is it's not perfunctory, but seemingly perfunctory. And the reason is very simple. In interview, we use in our HR practice on promotion, we use the collegiate approach. Everybody who comes in together at the same time rises in service at the same time. Level 8 3 years, 9 3 years, 10 3 years. Hardly will anybody come across that set who did not start with them. And that's why when you go for the promotion interview, you will see some faces in your cadre, in your level, who you never knew before. And you now want to question the system. Let me give you an example. You are on 13, going to 14. Of course, when you are on level 8, you all know, those of you who did the exam together, level 9, all of you on level 9 together to 10, from 10 to 12, 12 to 13. We're now going from 13 to 14. You are now seeing strange faces. You want to query how they got your set. So that will be based on those who come from transfer, from parastatals, from local government, from other agents of government across the federation, or even from the private sector. So you'll be able to identify those who are not part of your set at the start of your career in the service. So it's a collegiate approach. College, set by set, turn by turn. There will hardly be anybody in your college, in your set, that will get accelerated promotion and go above that set unless the person is exceptionally good and the entire system will know it and acknowledge him for that. So we are assured that the interview is not to witch hunt. We are going to meet known faces. We are all set. We know ourselves. Those of us who are the same set have worked together before. We have handed over to each other, and we have been handed over to by a fellow colleague. Let me give an example on that. Mr. Brahmo, Minister of Justice, level 13, being posted to Minister of Staff, level 13, and the person is in a staff, level 13, is coming to Minister of Justice, level 13. When they say Mr. Brahmo, Vice Mr. Adewale, Vice Mr. Brahmo, Vice Mr. Adewale. So you are all the same set. You know yourselves. So when you meet yourselves at promotion interview, there is still this friendliness. And you see some people too, when they go like that for promotion interview, when one of their colleagues is not measuring up, and like I said, even the interviewees, the candidates are co-evaluators, you see them worried. What's happening to Mr. Brahmo today? It's not like this. You will see in their body language that if they want to help him, they want to whisper answers to him, they want to jot down answers for him to read. Because it's a collegiate approach. So the sense of competition is not there. We float together, we rise together, we live together, because we have seen ourselves as a formidable team. So assurances of promotion interview is that it's seemingly perfunctory because we don't go there with the spirit of competition. And of course, because the vacancy position is enough to cover everybody, there is no reason why anybody should be left out. The whole group will not be happy if one of their candidates, one of their colleagues is not promoted. So there is less competition, and the problem of consequential vacancy will not arise. Let me explain that aspect to all of us. If there are 10 people going from 15 to 16, 16 to 17, 10 people, 16 to 17. And out of those 10, only 6 make level 17. It means that the consequential vacancy for that level 16 has been reduced by 4. So those who are moving from 15 to 16 will be fighting not to be in the 4 shortage of the vacancy position. So the total vacancy position is always prepared in a way that will cover everybody at the lower level who is eligible for promotion to the higher level, not subject to the performance of somebody on that higher level to go higher. The promotion of a level 14 to 15 is not subject to the performance of a level 15 to level 16. That's what I mean by that. Consequential vacancy becomes inconsequential, because from the establishment provision, when doing the establishment budget the previous year, every officer who is eligible is provided for in the establishment provision. As you all know, promotion vacancy is determined by establishment provision, bodies imposed, vacancy, consequential vacancy, total vacancy. But these days, the establishment provision is so much widened to accommodate everybody who is due for promotion in the following year. Now, ordinarily, if we are to follow the basic principles of interview, it starts from the written tests. Like I said in my second slide, I said promotion is subject to SPADEF, written examination, and oral interview. Ordinarily, whoever has a poor SPADEF should not be presented for the promotion exercise. Where the SPADEF is poor, the officer should not go to write the test. Where the result of the test is poor, the person is not supposed to go for oral interview. And that's why at the oral interview, we wear out the panelists. They become worn out. There's a slide where I'll be addressing that. What I'm saying is that these three components of SPADEF, written exam, oral interview, what we do presently is to add SPADEF, add written, add oral, find the aggregate, and see if the officer has scaled through. But ideally, whoever has a poor SPADEF should not be presented for the promotion exercise. He will not do written. Whoever has a good SPADEF goes for written and has a good written result. Has a poor written result, is not supposed to go for oral interview. For example, let's say 100 people are those who are eligible. Only 70 have good SPADEF. Those 70 should be presented for written exam. If out of the 70, only 50 pass written exam, only those 50 who pass should go to oral interview. So that at the end of the day, those who fall by the wayside will know they have themselves to blame, and they will take their job serious, and they will read very well to ensure that they have the minimum score at the written examination. When you get to the issue of interviewers, the panelists will discuss this. But for now, we detach written tests, we detach SPADEF scores from oral interview. Of course, at the aggregate score, we include SPADEF, written, oral. My position is that whoever has a poor SPADEF has no business going to write exam. Whoever writes exams and fails has no business going for oral interview. Next slide, please. Next slide. Now, under distinct nature of interviews, distinct nature of interview in the state public service. Now, of course, this class is majorly for interview for promotion exercise, but that's not the only interview that is done in service. Sometimes we hold interview to determine deployment. Deployment, I'll remember the instance of a time when a director of protocol was to be deployed. They were looking for an officer to deploy to the post of director of protocols. The service shortlisted 6 people for that interview to see whether they have the core competence, whether they have the requirements for the post of director of protocols. Of course, it does not attach a higher salary, it does not attach a higher status. He retains his grade level, whatever it is, but because of the sensitivity of the post of director of protocols, we had to conduct interview, shortlisted about 6 people to go for it. That was when Mr. Ajalogun, Mr. Fatai Olurebi Ajalogun was made head of protocol and they are under Ambode. That was an interview. So that interview, what they will look for in the interview of deployment is not what they will look for in an interview for promotion. The same thing happens on executive search. On executive search, the focus is not on the grade level, it's on the post, the responsibility, the demands of that office, the requirements for that particular office requires an executive search. An executive search is looking for somebody who is best fitted, who will assume that responsibility with zero learning curve, who has been prepared, mentored, monitored, groomed for that office. I remember that during the time of Fashola, when Lagos State Resident Registration Agency was established, they were looking for a general manager, the first general manager to occupy the post. I can say confidently that the service, the PAM sec then in Science and Tech was Mrs. Stalin Alaja Brown, C.A. Alaja Brown. So the LASRA is under Science and Tech. So they are looking for somebody who will be general manager. And they were to take somebody from inside the public service. So between the head of service then, Mr. Yakub Balogun, and the Commissioner for Science and Tech, current Deputy Governor, Kadiri Amzat, and the PAMSEC, Alaja Brown, they were trying to see who from within could assume that responsibility. 4 officers were shortlisted for special interview. Those 4 officers are Mr. Fariuddin Olalekan Abisoyakodu, Mr. Bashir Ademiwa Brahimo, Mrs. Ebun Oladimeji, and Mrs. Fayemi. The 4 of us were shortlisted for interview because that was an example of executive search, looking for somebody who has the cognate experience, who has the temerity, appetite for work, and ability to start a new agency. End of the day, the job was given to an outsider. The rest is history. So that's why we say that the interview for deployment, the interview for executive search differs. We also have interview for strategic positions. For example, about 2 years ago, the Public Service Office of Head of Service sent out a circular asking for admin and HR officers who wanted deployment as DAHR. Let me explain this. That you are level 15, 16, 17, assistant, deputy, director of admin and HR does not mean that should be DHR. We have directors of admin and HR who are serving in other departments that are classified as professional departments, but not in the department of admin and HR. For example, in the commission, director of career management, director of secretariat, director of this and the exit and whatever. In home affairs, director of home affairs, director of also in home affairs who are HR, staff, director of training, director of labor and industrial relations are also from HR. So in the MDAs, there are professional departments in every MDA, apart from the director, admin, and HR, that are occupied by admin and HR officers. So find out that what it requires to be a director of admin and HR goes beyond the mundane things that are required by other departments where where directors of admin and HR are functioning. So the head of service office, throughout the openness, they wrote the examination, they were interviewed, but unfortunately, even those two of them who were on 16 and 17 did not show promise in performing the duties of director, admin, and HR. And that's why you see in some agencies, you have a level 16, level 15, acting as director A and HR, where 17 are in other places. They may take higher salary, they may take maybe higher status, but the strategic placement of a DA and HR cannot be taken for granted. So what was PSO looking for as such an interview? PSO was not looking for somebody on the basis of grade level alone. They were looking for somebody who has what it takes to coordinate all the departments, to act as a buffer for the permanent secretary, to assist permanent secretary in administering the office. And it goes beyond grade level. So that is another example of executive search, only that it is for officers regardless of their grade level. And of course, we have the interview for promotion, such as the one you are preparing for. In that instance, everybody everybody come inside. In the case of deployment, like I said earlier on, at the case of Mr. Jalogun, it's for somebody to fill one post, just one post. Executive search, looking for somebody to fill one post. And don't forget that general manager post is an accounting officer post. He may not be a permanent secretary, but he functions as permanent secretary because the head of the department and his accounting officer. The same thing on the strategic positions of the HR that I give an example just shortly. Look for somebody who can fit in, somebody who has initiatives, someone who can stand in the absence of a permanent secretary. These requirements differ from promotion, where the vacancy position is so wide as to accommodate everybody come inside. In the case of deployment, executive search, strategic position, it is many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. But for promotion, it is everybody come inside. Next slide, please. Now, I'm going to marry this slide with the previous slide. In the previous slide, I was talking about deployment, executive search, strategic position, promotion, etc. The indices that are marked, that are used to determine winner, that are used to determine who to pick, will differ from one post to the other. Because, like in promotion, there are the panel, the circular tells us the indices they use in scoring. They will assign weights, they will assign measures, they will apportion ratings. Why? Because the demand of each job differs. But in service, right from level 7 to 16, the same indices, the same weight, the same measures, the same ratings, whereas these things should be discriminatory. I'll go back to my slide 2, talking about SPADEF, written exam, oral interview. There is nothing stopping SPADEF to play a lesser role in some of these posts. There is no reason why written examination can have lesser score. Oral interview too. At the oral interview, you see us talking about comportment, appearance, professional questions, general knowledge, seniority. Even if these are the indices that should cut across all grade levels, the weighting should differ. The weighting for professional questions should be higher when talking about level 15 and 16, 13, 14, 15, 16. The indices should have greater weight for professional questions. What do you measure for an officer? Or let me say, what you measure for an officer going to 16 is not the same thing you measure for an officer going to 12. So the ratings should be post-specific. The ratings should be sector-specific. The ratings should be MDA-specific. If you are talking about, okay, for example, look at teachers. The SPADEF that teachers should fill should not be the generic SPADEF that everybody else feels. How do you judge teachers? You judge teachers by their students' performance. You judge teachers by their students' compliance. When you are giving teachers the same SPADEF that you are giving admin officers, what are you going to measure? Teachers don't write memo. The best memo they write is note of lesson notes, work plan, and everything. Different from writing memo for approval for expenditure. So if somebody is going to level 13, the weight, the measure, and the rating for those indices should differ from anybody else going to 10 or 12. One of the things is that at any point in time, the indices should differ. Even where the indices are the same, the weights, the measures, the ratings should differ. It's not supposed to be a one size fits all. I will come back to this later. Next slide, please. Now I'm talking about, next slide, about response management 1. I have 2 slides on response management here, and 3 slides on response management. On my response management 1, if you are asked a question, maximum 10-30 seconds, you should answer it. And an interviewee should avoid shows that he's just trying to think out the answer, trying to wriggle out of the box. Even where you say that your answer is not acceptable, the confidence you express at times will make it appear that that is your opinion, and that opinion has to be respected. Now, you should ensure that you communicate clearly in your response to the questions. But you see, all these things I'm talking about as response management are hardly allowed to operate, because when you have 10 people before you are interviewing them, what's the deputy governor of Lagos State? You, next. No. That approach can work for level 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 12. When it comes to 12 to 13, you should have to give them some case studies and ask them to respond to the case studies. That is where you can judge their thinking ability, their ability to think out in without the box, ability to fashion out ingenuity in their response. So when you ask a question, a study question such as, who is the SSG? I say, you don't know it. They tell you, I say, they say next, 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 Mrs. Odeyin. Okay, yeah, the 5th person, who is the commissioner for Home Affairs. These are questions, if you don't know, just say pass. The panel will look for something else to ask you, because they have to score you on general knowledge. So you have to, when it comes to answers that require explanation, you must communicate very well. I will tell you how to gauge our appearances, our performances at the interview at another slide. At the interview, you must appear neat, open, honest, confident. And that's why there's a scoring for appearance. The scoring for appearance says appearance and comportment. unless they have changed it now. Even if you wear suit and you are carrying yourself as somebody who's wearing rags, you don't get the score. You must appear fitted, fit for purpose. Then when you are answering, you use facts, not assumption. Not people say, what is it? Okay, let's go to the Bible. Jesus Christ asked his apostles, who do people say I am? Some say you are Elisha. Some say you are John the Baptist. Some say you are Hosea. Some say you are Moses. And I asked them a specific question. To you who are my disciples, who do you know me to be? They were dumbfounded. Before Peter said, thou art Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus responded, on that, I laid the foundation of my church. You can see facts. So when you are talking about facts, not people say, I think, what is the fact? If you have data, bring out the data. If you have figures, bring out the figures. You can use figures, percentages, fraction, decimal to buttress your answer. Where even the panelists, the interviewers, do not agree with your position, when you give them add facts and they cannot controvert that fact at that sitting, you'll have the day. Then avoid verbosity, saying too many things. Actually, you see, when you come to the furniture, if they say, what do you do in your office? There's a difference between scheme of service and schedule of duty. What do you do in the office? Actually, when we resume in the morning, actually, that is not what they're asking for. They're asking for what to do. Go straight to the point. Be mindful that there are more than 2-3 people there. So by the time you are trying to be verbose, one, you may lose your ability to convince. Two, it wastes too much time. And others too spend the same number of time with you. You are stressing the panelists and they will lose interest in you. Go straight to the point. Between 10-30 seconds, you should be able to convey the answer. Now, if they want more, they will now probe further and say, okay, you said so. Can you explain? At that point of their asking to explain, they have given you a big bandwidth to express yourself. So you cannot go into other things. Now, also avoid attempting to hijack the panel. They are the ones asking the question, not you. Don't make them feel as if they don't know what they are doing. Even if they don't know what they are doing ab initio, your response will tell them what to do. So avoid hijacking the panel, avoid verbosity, use facts, be neat, open, honest, communicate fairly and clearly, and most importantly, your response maximum 30 seconds, unless they want to probe further. That is so you can go beyond that 30 seconds to explain further. Of course, at that time, they need you to speak more. Next slide, please. Now, under my response management 2, still talking about what you need to do. Be calm, be confident, give opinions, give solutions, avoid the wrong impression, identify a friendly face. Is a panel of interviewers, 3 PAMSECs, 5 directors. The 3 PAMSECs, 1 in your MDA, 2 borrowed from outside. 5 directors are from your MDA. Hardly are directors borrowed from outside. But in case it happens, focus on your PAMSEC, who is the chairman. Focus on your directors who are from your MDA. These are your friendly people. Look at them. Keep eye contact with them. If you are missing it, they are the ones who will bring you back, because they know you, they know your worth, they know your stuff, they know your standard. So if you are not behaving well at that interview and you are keeping face contact with them, like you are asking for lead and for guidance. More so in instances where you are not sure of your response. Look, identify a friendly face and engage that friendly face with an eye contact, as if saying, Oga, you are my savior today. But there is always ample opportunity for you to find a friendly face in the panel. Your PAMSEC is there as chairman. Your directors are there who know you, who you know. So that friendly face will be your contact to say, am I doing well? Am I making it? Am I impressing you? Next slide, please. To my response management 3. Even as an interviewee, as a candidate, you can be sure if your response is attracting positive or negative from the panel of interviewers. For example, by the way you are talking, you are looking at all of the panelists, their body language. If their body language is not good, you will know. By the time you are keeping eye contact, even with the friend you have identified, he will, if he's not proud of you, he will look down. Your PAMSEC is there as chairman. 2, 3 of your directors are there, and you are answering questions. You are looking at them, and they are not communicating. They're not looking at your face. They are telling you that they are ashamed of you. But if those friendly faces you see in the panel are looking back at you face to face, and you are seeing their eye contact and their body language as favorable, it means that you are doing well. Now, in the same response, in the same feedback mechanism, these are feedback. Body language is a feedback to the interviewee. Eye contact is a feedback to the interviewee. Verbal and non-verbal applause is a feedback to the interviewee. How? Number 1, as you are talking, they are listening, not only with their ears, with their eyes, with their body. If you touch areas that interest them, they will come out alive. If touch areas where you are cutting their discomfort, you will see in their body language and you quickly retrace your steps. That is what we mean by saying body language, eye contact, verbal and non-verbal applause. Verbal applause, okay, Mr. Brown, that's good. Mr. Brown, that's good. That's enough. Non-verbal applause, just see them. I will shake his head. When you start seeing these things, it tells you, check yourself. Check yourself. You are losing the battle. Next slide, please. Now, at the civil service promotion interview, it's always a panel. A panel interview is supposed to be tougher than a one-on-one interview, where one person will be interviewing you. A panel, each one will cover separate aspects of the interview. Because before you come in, they will have, Mr. Ramon, take them on current affairs. Mr. Daudu, take them on professional question. Mrs. Adewale, take them on Kinikon. They will have assigned those questions to themselves. So, to please a panel of interviewers is more challenging than to please. Just give me 1 minute. 1 minute, please. Just 1 minute. Sorry for that break in transport. Somebody has been calling me since more than 7 times and so on a one-on-one, the person cannot be a one-size-fits-all. There's no one person that can know it all. It is easier if under a one-on-one and does not like your face, he rules you off. Under panel, the possibility of 1 or 2 of them listening to you, flowing with you is there. And the decision is not a one-man show. The same thing at some interview, they ask lead questions. What is, who is, why is, which is. Those are straight questions. Sometimes it may require you to give an answer, and if they're not pleased, they can reframe the question in a way that you understand what they're asking you. Oh God. So just 1 minute, just 1 minute. So on a one-on-one, the challenge is higher than on a panel interview. Panel, you can see a friend, somebody can even like your face, somebody can like your comportment, somebody can like your tribe, can like your approach. For all of them to be against you, very, very difficult. And also at the interview, where it is group appearance that we do in service, group appearance, you find out that you don't have enough time to stretch yourself. Let's say you are 5, and the panel says, okay, this group, we give them 30 minutes, and you are trying to take 3 or 4 minutes. What will be left for other members? What will be left for other people in the panel who have other various questions to ask? Sometimes too, the questions can be structured or unstructured. Structured to say answer yes or no. Unstructured that from your response, another question can come, either for clarity or for conviction. So most often than not, if the panel is for 16 going to 17, I don't think the questions should be structured. The questions should be unstructured so that it can bring out the best in you to see your conviction, your capitulation, and everything. So where those on level 8, 9, 10, 12 can be given structured questions, 14 to 15, 15 to 16 to 17 should be asked unstructured questions. And same thing happens on time management. I'm going to talk about this in another slide. If you take too much time of the panel, they may even lose interest in you. By the time you're even taking too much time, look at your colleagues that you are facing them together, and you look at their body language. If they see that you are taking too much time in your response, take a lead from them and stop. Because as you are being interviewed, they are also being interviewed. They are also interviewing you indirectly. From your response to the questions, they are also giving you a lead way to show you whether you are doing well or not. Now, on stress and recess, because in the state promotion, it's a group thing. You will see the panelists after. Okay, let's start like this. When an interview starts at 10 a.m., you have all witnessed this before. 10 a.m. The first set to go in will take long time because the panelists are still fresh. By the time the second set comes in, the number of minutes they spend on each set will start to reduce because they are also human beings. Àwọn Yorùbá ní tí eégún bá ń lé ni ká máa rọ́jú. Bó ṣe ń rẹ ará ayé ló ń rẹ ará ọ̀run. So as they are interviewing you, set by set, the time they are allotting to each set, consciously or unconsciously, will be reducing. By the time they walk up to like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and they ask the DHR, go and look outside, how many are still remaining? Say, Oga, they are about 80. 80! So they start saying, all of you come inside. Yeah, everybody, one. Commissioner for Health, you. Commissioner for Justice, you. Commissioner for Home Affairs, you. Commissioner for Works, you. Who is SSG, you. Who is Chief of Staff, who is DCOS. Because they are also getting tired. And that's why you see interview sessions going late into the night. It's not called for. But of course, still, you have to marry it with resources. If they are to spend quality time at the interview process, it will take longer time. Another time takes more resources for tea break, for lunch, for allowances, etc. So by the time if you are going for an interview and you are the first set, be ready for a prolonged session because they are still fresh. By the time they are getting to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and they are if they are just at their lunch, you know their lunch, they take heavy rice, pounded yam, amola, meat, fish. They eat. Tiredness, other than that food, to rejuvenate them, it tires them. So they have stress and recess. And by the time you see the panelists coming out one after the other, it shows weariness. Weary, W-E-A-R-Y. It shows weariness. A panel of 5 people, a set now goes in, only 2 people are there. One has gone to the toilet, one is walking across the corridor, one is yawning, one is avoiding not to sleep. You can never get quality of interview at that level. So if you are lucky to go to the interview panel like 4 or 5 o'clock, though you'll have lost your patience. But what you lose by patience, you will gain by shortness of appearance before the panel. The service really has to work seriously on this aspect of it. So on interview positions, this is really facing the interviewers. The panel, one-on-one, lead questions, group appearance, structured, unstructured, time management, stress, recess, weariness, because they're also human beings. And those of you also waiting outside, you might have lost your wit. But you can keep your wit by asking yourselves questions, but don't engage in reading anything at that level, because your assimilation rate will decline. Anything you don't know before that moment, it's better don't even try to put your head into it. Otherwise, it will disturb what you already know. Like I said, there is no panel by the time you're on level 13 that you not know 1 or 2 people there who know you, especially for the admin cadre. 1 or 2 of the permanent secretaries will have worked with you either directly as a ministry or through one committee or the other, through one panel or the other, through one assignment or the other, that have engaged both of you in it, and you have built some confidence in you that gives you enough leeway to see him as a friend in the panel. Next slide, please. Now, here, I am talking about the way forward. I'm trying to see, it is where I want the class to respond and give me their positions, not only on this talk, but on areas that have to do with their experiences in service, either as member of a PMB for 01 to 06 for junior, or secretariat of a PMB for senior and management, or as those who prepare briefs, especially on the areas of indices, weights, measures, and ratings. What are their understandings? What have they discovered in this kind of thing? So I throw the class open. After this slide now, we now go to questions and answers. And you can as well take the questions and answers now in this. Next slide, please. Next slide. Now, in the final slide, we are talking about question and answers, credits, and departure. So we can as well take the last slide and this slide together on the way forward for responses from the floor, questions, answers, suggestions, and posers that you want us to talk about. We have spent 1 hour, 15 minutes. Good evening, and thank you for listening. Jamiu.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So the way forward, questions, answers, posers, suggestions, other gray areas that might want me to throw light on. Hello?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful presentation, sir. On this note, I will open floor for every one of us to ask questions. If you have any question, raise up your hand. And before we go into the question segment, I will please recognize the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria for their support toward this call. I don't know if the chairman is on this call, Mr. Balogun. Okay. Mr. Balogun, are you on this call? Okay, it's like his network is fluctuating. Okay, before we end the call, we call him in to come and say, have a word with us. Okay, before that, Mr. Ogunlewe Ajumobi, please, you have the floor, Mr. Ogunlewe. Unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir. Thank
Good
you,
evening.
Mr. Coordinator and the facilitator. My name is Ogunlewe Adejumobi, Assistant Director of Procurement, Loma. My question for our facilitator is that he should explain more about structured and unstructured time management and inconsequential vacancy. Thank you.
Another one. Another one. Do I respond to this or I wait for that?
Okay, sir. I don't know. Do you want to compile the question together, or you want to?
I think to save time, let's take 2-3 questions. I respond.
Okay.
Take another 2-3 questions. I respond.
Okay, sir.
I will give permission to take charge of meeting where
Bolanle, you have the floor.
Going for about 5 minutes. Because I'm also very, very busy like that. I'm so sorry about it. So, can you please take over so that I can concentrate on because I'm present?
Bolanle.
Hello? Baby.
Yeah.
You have the floor, Bolanle. Bolanle Fadaka. Unmute yourself.
Hello?
Okay, Segun Adediran.
Okay, the baby is not submitted. I can nominate.
Hello.
Can I nominate something?
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Mr. Coordinator and facilitator. And good evening to all my colleagues, my seniors. I'm Dr. Adeni Oluwasegun. I'm from General Hospital Faculty, consultant general surgeon. Mine is not. They are not questions. They are more of a concern, a concern and an observation. The concern is that this class that we just had this evening, I got the I got the WhatsApp the WhatsApp invite at about an hour before the commencement of the class. And if we are talking about promotion, I think this is an avenue to show the proper way of doing things. So some of us here were intensivists, some are surgeons, and within that period, an intensivist might deal with a critical patient for over 2 hours. And within that period that invite was sent, and the time he or she might have finished with that patient, that intensivist will have missed this class, which is a very critical class for a promotion. And if it's a surgeon, the surgeon might have been on a patient since about 5, and you got an invite for a class like this about 6, and you finish surgery 2 hours after, you will have missed the class as well. So what my concern is that, is there a way we can improve on this, at least to have this invite 24 hours before the class? Then my observation is,
Okay, and doctor, yeah,
in one of your slides,
I'm with you.
in one
Yes.
of your slides, you talked about sorry, I'm looking for the slide now. This distinct natures of interviews. My observation is that, yeah, we have deployment and the executive search, strategic position, promotion. Is it possible that employment can be part of these distinct natures of interview? Thank you very much. These are my concerns and observations.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me take this too. Now, let me start with this. Adejumobi, you want me to explain structured and unstructured? A structured interview is like a questionnaire. What is this? How many? Which? How? Why? These are structured. More often than not, they are listed for the panelists to ask and await responses. These are structured. But unstructured is open-ended. They are determined by spur of the moment. And that is why in a structured interview, once you give an answer, nothing more to add. Who is the Minister Commissioner for Justice? You have answered it, nothing again. But on unstructured questions, open-ended questions that appear as spur of the moment, an answer, a question can be, do you believe in growth mindset? If you say yes, they'll say how. You now keep on talking to. It's a lead. They only appear in posers, trying to stretch you to your imagination to express yourself and convince the panel about your position. Even where the interviewer does not agree with you, he cannot fault your position because your position is based on facts. And like I said earlier on, an interview should not be a one-size-fits-all. So if you are interviewing officers on level 7, 8, 9, 10, you can use structured. If you interview officers on 14, 15, 16, you cannot use structured. Use unstructured so that you can elicit the response that will make you to score the officer. So that's different on that. Now on the doctor, let me say this, that when you're talking about those on essential services, even if this notice gives 10 hours, those of you in essential services, will not be able to make it. Suppose you want to join at 7 and you get a call. You cannot join. What I can do, and I just pray that not everybody will come again. Those of you in essential services, I may take you again on this same paper. So look for a time that is most convenient, but there can't be any time that is fit for all. There's a difference between fit for all and fit for post. Now, on the issue of deployment, executive search, strategic positions, in the medical field, the post of CMD is not a promotion post, it's an appointment. What a CMD does is not what a surgeon, any surgeon does. Is coordinating all professions in all sectors of the medical profession, managing nurses, managing pharmacists, managing doctors, even managing patients in and outpatient, managing accountants, managing engineers, managing every aspect of the hospital administration. So what you need for that person need not be a medical doctor. But I'm sorry to say this, the medical profession, had always been monopolized by doctors. A good doctor may not be a good administrator. A good pharmacist may not be a good administrator. There was a time in this country when Julius Adeluyi, the pharmacy, was made minister for health, and the doctor said no. As a CMD, of course, he will have an idea of everything in the system. So even you are talking, if they throw the post of CMD open for appointment, nothing stops you if you have the eligibility status to apply for it. A CMD need not go into theater unless extremely necessary and unless there is no other competent doctor, no other competent surgeon to do that kind of surgery. Otherwise, it's there managing resources, managing time, human, financial, material resources. So it's just because at the end of the day, we always think that the CMD must be particular cadre. And that's why even today in the medical field, other professionals, pharmacists and co, are also struggling that they can also be CMD. I'm not disparaging the medical doctors. I'm not disparaging surgeons. I'm not disparaging other cadres. The thing is that a CMD is a post that manages resources. A good lawyer may not be a good actor, may not be a good Surgeon General because he's managing resources in the ministry. So, like I said, I want to give you this concession. If you know people who are in the same bracket as you are, that you have find difficult to join this class, I can give you your own session, a separate. But I will implore those of you in this class not to join them. So, for you to get back to me, get back to the coordinator, get my number, chat me, let us have a date that is both convenient for you and for me. For example, if for me to pick today at 7 p.m., I was given 5 hours range. And I picked 7 p.m. because by that time I'll have gone out and come back home. So that is that. Thank you very much. Let us take 2 or 3 more questions before we round up.
Okay, sir. Labi, unmute yourself. We have only like 5 minutes more.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for thank you for the lesson, sir. Sorry for this question. I want to know, maybe is it the SPADEF written and the oral they are added together for the capital for promotion this year, or is people that merit the SPADEF or the written that will go for the oral? Sorry for that.
No, don't be sorry. Let me quickly answer. What I said was that ordinary for promotion exercise, you use SPADEF, written and interview. And I said ordinarily, not everybody should get to interview level. Whoever has a poor SPADEF is no longer eligible. There is a score for SPADEF. Whoever does not have that score on SPADEF is not eligible for the promotion exercise. If the SPADEF is good and it goes for written, there is a base mark for written. Whoever does not score that base mark for written has no business with oral interview. But in service, we don't do that. Everybody still goes for the oral interview and stress out the system. We are out the system. At the end of the day, you will not be promoted because with a poor SPADEF, a poor rating at written, there is nothing the oral can do to make him promotable. So why stress the system? Whoever asks, so that will make everybody work very hard to make sure that he scores high in SPADEF to make him eligible for written. And at written, he will read very seriously to pass, to make him eligible for oral. So whoever has scaled SPADEF, scaled written test, will likely pass oral and be promoted. That was the position I was canvassing. Next question, please.
All right, sir. Our time, the Zoom have been giving me time here. Like we have 2 minutes more.
So thank you very much for listening. Like I said, like I gave those on essential services. If they get back to you, Jamil, let them give them their number, give them my number. We can see how we can accommodate ourselves between now and Saturday. But it must also be at night. Thank you very much. I wish you all luck. I wish you success in all your endeavors. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone, for your time, for being part of today's call. So we will update you more on our program, the next lecture.